did, and then I remember after I was supposed to go get the medal. I think that was when the first time I met Mr. The GOC.
Benjamin Mensah.
Yes, that was the first time I met him. I heard the name before, but then I not met him in person. So that was the first time I met him in person. So we talked about like what I'm going through and stuff like that, you know. So I remember he told me that, so if this is what I'm going through, then after the games we can go to Ghana, because I was supposed to go from Birmingham back to the US.
Okay.
So they had to, change my ticket to go to Ghana and then back to the US. So I can get treatment, there's some form of treatment, and if not, then they'll probably find something for me to, come back and then get the treatment myself. Yeah, so that was the whole thing. That was what happened. So I was so shocked when they said like he didn't promise me or something like that. Cause like I won't lie on a great man like that. So that was what happened. So
he later said
I went to Ghana.
He never promised you anything.
So he promised that. Okay, so the whole thing was to take me home to get treatment. And if I don't get to get the treatment, then they'll find something, I would say money or whatever, for me to come here and get the treatment here in the US. Right. So then we all know what that meant. So we went to Ghana. I didn't hear from them. I think we were supposed to even go to see the president. We didn't get to see the president. I was supposed to even go back home, but because of the back and forth, not knowing when we're going to see the president, I think I only went home to spend, I think, a day with my dad and then back to Accra and then left. So that was what happened. And then I came back. I didn't hear from them again until the next year. I qualified for the World Championship, so then I had to continue training. So the whole thing of my training, I got to a point where I'll train today and I'll be out for like the next 3-4 days. And then, the pain will go down a little bit, and then I'll start the training again. And then I'll be out for like 2-3 days and then train again, then be out. Like it was just back and forth like that. So I qualified for the the World Champs anyway. So that was like, okay, at this point I'm still gonna go, and I'm not getting the support that I needed. So I have to do something to help myself. So what I decided to do was that was when I did the scan, and then it showed that, hey, this is what is wrong with your Achilles. So I remember I started paying, I changed my phone, like I want to send a screenshot of what I used to pay, which was $55 every session. And I was doing it 3 times a week. So imagine doing it 3 times a week. I did it for a month. And then I was like, I'm not working anyways. How am I going to do this? So then I had to stop. So I stopped. And then I started seeing this trainer that I used to see at World Champs in Eugene. So I used to see that guy. And then he was charging me $35. So I was like, okay, this is good, at least, But then again, I did it for a while. And then the same old thing, resources like money. I couldn't do it. So it got to a point where he was like, okay, you pay me $100 and then I'll treat you for, I think, 3 weeks or so. I still had a long way to go, like all the way to, I think the World Champs was in August, right? Maybe July or August. So I still had a long way to go. So how long am I going to continue doing this? I was paying my own rent, like, car insurance and stuff like that. So then how am I going to do this on my own? So then I stopped going to this man, and I started doing the exercises that I used to do with him. So I started doing it on my own. You understand? So that was how I was helping myself at that point.
Deborah Acquah there. If you don't remember her, well, Deborah Acquah is the record holder for the long jump here in Ghana, and also Ghana's Commonwealth medalist, Commonwealth bronze medalist, and that's from the last edition of the Games, complaining about lack of support. Now, let's just quickly take a listen to the response that we got, because the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee had to put everything in perspective on yesterday's show here on Joy 99.7. Let's quickly take a listen to him, and then we'll pick comments, very, very brief comments from Ghana Athletics. And this is one matter they do not want to go into, but we'll just want to open up the conversation about the structure of support for national athletes, what they are due and what they'd have to look elsewhere for. We'll look at all of those here on Joy 99.7 FM as we bring you the Joy Sports Link between now and the top of the hour, 2 p.m. So yesterday we reached the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Benno Numensa, and he had this to clarify.
My conversation with Deborah, when she said she'd been injured, I said, yes, after the competition, come to Ghana. It's likely that the winners of those who won medals will meet the president. You need to raise that up. And of course, when we came, I raised it with the minister. I met Deborah, she's been injured. Okay. She came to Ghana all right. The meeting with the presidency for medal winners never happened. But we made sure that whatever money was due her for winning medal, it was given to her. I think at the time the money was ready, she had left. I called her, she said she had asked somebody to come and collect it. The other promise I made to Deborah was that I was going to put her on Olympic scholarship, where on a monthly basis she can get something to take care of herself, her training and other things, which I did. Deborah is currently on the GOC scholarship, where she gets $750 a month since after Birmingham, since after I've met her. So as to the issue of an injury, one, I wasn't the one who convinced her to come. She was injured and she's finished the competition when I met her. I said, yes, you're a national star. When you get injured, we have to make sure, the state has to make sure that they are taking care of you. I don't know when she got injured, okay? And most of these things is done, is championed by the National Federation. Yeah, so she came down. We planned to meet the minister together with the president of the state. That never happened. However, when the money for her was ready, she had left. She said they should give it to her auntie or somebody. I can't remember the story. We made sure the person got the money. The other promise I made to her was on the GOC scholarship, where she's going to get $750 a month. That was done. So those are things that are within the GOC's powers. Giving an athlete scholarship, that we can easily do it.
Let me get
but taking care of a national interest.
Yes, let me get clarification on the money that you're talking about that she made someone come for. Was that bonus for winning the medal or per diem or what kind?
It was bonus for winning medals and stuff like that. Not like the injury money. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. The other athlete who got injured, I think that must be in Tokyo. You realize that when he went to the ministry or when he was able to meet down as a boxer, the ministry funded his surgery or whatever. But Deborah, unfortunately, while he was here, was not able to meet the minister. And these are things that are championed by their national federations. I don't even know when she got it. I only came in to help.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, here's my other question. You mentioned the Olympic scholarship. Obviously, Deborah is not the only one on it. There are quite a number of athletes who are on that Olympic scholarship. Exactly. And the Olympic scholarship is per Olympic cycle from a previous competition to the next one. So this one that Deborah is on is from the Tokyo one leading to Paris. And when were they put on this scholarship? This was right after the games?
It was right after Birmingham. Scholarship application takes a while.
Okay, so
the Olympic Games was done in 2021 instead of 2020, so it kind of affected the cycle.
Okay, that's
so
fair.
Application for scholarships didn't happen in 2021. It was done in 2022.
And given Deborah's performance in the years leading to that, to her being put on the Olympic scholarship, it didn't matter if she was injured or not, or that you were trying to help her with the injury. She definitely, per performance, would have been one of those that merited that scholarship. I think that is...
of course.
Thank you.
Of course. So, scholarships are given based on your performance. You can submit names, and if you don't meet the criteria...
Yes. I just wanted to establish that because I don't want people to misconstrue her being put on the scholarship as a way of atoning for whatever promise in coach.
No, not at all.
Exactly. So I wanted to establish that.
Yes, but what I promised her that, look, we're going to get you on the GOC scholarship as well, so that at least it can help you with your competition, with your training. As for your injury, if you're a national star, the state has to make sure that you're being taken care of.
Okay.
Or you were competing for the country and you got injured, even though I don't know where the injury happened. I'm sure if you speak to Athletic Association, they'll be able to tell exactly when that happened. But I'm only telling you promise because you're asking the discussion that went on. And this discussion was together with Mr. Katufo. So it's not like something we had there. And I have been communicating with Deborah recently. I sent her, hi, how you doing? Cham. So I was surprised.
When was the last time she raised an issue with this whole treatment money thing?
No, she has never. Since after Birmingham, we've never raised issue.
Not
we've
with
never
you personally.
spoken about issue. It was that I was checking up if she could qualify, because when one of our meetings on Paris, I said, Deborah could be one or so. Let me just say hi to her and find out how she's doing. Seriously, I didn't even know she's on injury, because once we put you on Olympic scholarship, I would believe that you go to as many competitions as possible so that you can qualify. So I'm even surprised to hear she's still suffering from the injury. But I'm sure, like I said,
I think it's obvious that injuries like that, they need surgery, and $750 a month with rent, training, and all these things. Obviously, I think we can all agree that it's vastly inadequate to be able to support any form of surgery that is required. And for an injury that has lasted as long as it has, since 2022, without that surgery, it's very difficult to see a way back for her, even on the Olympic scholarship. Clearly, that would be, or that is inadequate.
As we just established, the Olympic scholarship is not given to her to take care of her injury, okay? Yes. I assume that once you are put on a certain level of stipend, it makes competing for qualification to the next Olympics much easier for the injury, not beside. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to say that is being given to her for the injury. No.
That's my next
question.
The
injury as a nation, when our athlete is injured, we need to take care of the injury.
All right, so that's the response that we got from the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Ben Nunu Mensah. Let's now reach two people. Now, one of them is the president of Ghana Athletics. I'm talking about Ba Husseini. Ba Husseini comes to the table with rich experience, having worked as, first of all, as Secretary General of the Federation for years, and also having been a national athlete himself previously. So he understands these matters pretty well. Mr. Husseini, thank you so much for your time here on the Joy Sports Link. We're glad to have you once again.
Thank you very much, Nat, and I'm so grateful to be on your platform.
All right. Later on, we'll also be picking some thoughts from Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu, but that will be towards the end of the conversation, because that has to do with the University of Ghana Stadium, which was a subject here. It was a subject here on the show. Now, Mr. Ba Husseini, I want you to explain to us the structure of support for national athletes. What makes them what makes them eligible for support, and also explain to us how all of this is worked out. I'm talking about the Olympic support that comes in for athletes on a regular basis, how they apply for these and how they're able to land these grants that are given them to support their respective careers. We're talking about this because of the current situation that Deborah Acquah finds herself in and the complaints that she has made.
Thank you very much, Nat. One thing we have to establish very clearly is that in athletics, we do not have a standard team, or we do not have a particular person who is constantly on the team. Whatever we do in the season is based on performance and the number of times that you competed, the number of times that you retain good times. So, for instance, if you look at our 400 relay team, we don't have a constant athlete running the relay teams. We always change them based on their current performances. So, in a year, the national team comes with the current performances. So, in this year, if you ask me who are the members or who are likely to go to the Olympics or to go to African Championships based on their performances, certain athletes definitely will not be there because they have not performed in a year. They have not performed within this season. Maybe they may perform later within the season. But as we speak up to today, some athletes haven't yet competed. So if I want to name a team for the African Championship in Cameroon later in June, or the West African Championship we're going to have in Ghana at the first week of June, those who have not competed definitely will not be on the team. So that's how it's structured. In terms of support based on the performance of being a member of the team. So if you are not in the current team, it's difficult for them to go to ministry or to go to for you. For instance, I just have a discussion with the Sports Authority today, and they also have a discussion with the Ministry of Youth and Sports last week, how we're going to support the current team going to Paris Olympic Games. And today, I just have a lengthy discussion with Mr. Majid Bawa, who is also working under the direct instruction of the Director General of the Sports Authority. How do we justify our team to Cameroon and our team to Paris, how we're going to prepare them to Paris? All these things depends upon the athlete's performance, because we need to justify the reason why we have to go to Cameroon with data, with times, and with recent performances.
Very well.
So that's the hardest.
Very well understood.
Yes, sir.
You're saying that when an athlete is going or performing within the requisite time limits for competition, then they are eligible to be called into the national team. And so it means consistent performances or consistent high performances are what guarantee an athlete stay in the national team. Now, in the scenario where an athlete has taken part in competition for Ghana this season, and by some reason or by some design is unable to take part in the next season, the national federation loses touch completely with this athlete. Is that the case?
Not at all. We have our foreign-based athletes and our foreign-based athlete rep who keep data, who keep records of all our athletes, whether they are performing or whether they are in shape or they are not in shape. And if they are not in shape, sometimes we reach out to them and ask them, what can we do? What is your program like? Your coach, how are you doing with your coach? And this time around, we've not heard from you. So what do we do? And if you are performing to get in touch with the school of your coach, then we give them some time period that we may need you for our national assignment. Sometimes they also have the personal competition that coincide with our national assignment. So for the African Games, letters were sent to the schools, and some athletes, Ghana may need them during the African Games and African Championship. So sometimes we do follow up and we do ask how they are faring.
Okay, now if an athlete, gets injured, competing for the national team, as against the athlete gets injured while, taking part in competition on their own as professionals, what are the variations in terms of how the association can support? And also, does the association have the requisite resources to meet these athletes halfway, irrespective of whether they're competing for the national team or they're on their own? Does the association have enough resources to take care or to, support the treatment of these athletes?
Now, these questions are twofold, so let's take it one after the other. The first one, you ask about athletes competing, getting injured in the competition, whether competing on their own or competing for Ghana. These are two different scenarios with two different consequences. If an athlete who is competing for Ghana and get injured, it becomes the responsibility of the state to take care of that. And we can clearly show example of what happened in Budapest. Joseph Paul Amoah and James Dicey got injured during the competitions. And graciously, the ministry came out to give them financial support to go and treat. If an athlete who is training in school or who is a professional competing at the professional level and got injured, the athlete might have got her agent or the school physio or the school doctors who takes care of them. It happens every year. We get athletes who get injured during their school competitions and their school takes care of them. So even this year, we had several injuries of the athletes. Some of them even couldn't come from African Games. They were being taken care of by their school. The reason being that sometimes when we call them for national assignment and the school assignment is also there, the school assignment take precedence over the national assignment because the school spent a lot of money on them, and which we clearly understood. So we don't contest with any other school. The second part of the question is that if an athlete gets injured, that the federation have the requisite resources to support. We would have wished we could have done that if we have that resources. But not the bare truth is that we do not have enough resources to go in for any athlete who get injured, whether it's in the national team or it is outside the national assignment. If we want to open that, we will not even have enough resources to cater all of it because a lot of athletes get injured during their competition periods. A lot of them, not one. This year, I can count a lot of them who have got injured outside national assignment competitions. But all of them find ways of treating themselves. If we have the resources, why not? We could always support the athlete. We always support them wherever we can. We support them with documentation. We support them with travel arrangement. We support them with ticket. We support them a lot. Wherever we can, not we always avail ourselves to support the athletes. After all, if we don't support them, who will? We always support them. If they come in handy, they come and tell us, this is my problem. We'll help them solve the problem.
In the case of, Deborah Acquah, did she at any point inform the association that she was injured?
Deborah Acquah injured started long way, a couple of years ago, long before the Eugene World Championships. We had, because the Eugene we supported her to the extent that we even brought her personal coach to the competition in Eugene because we knew how talented she is, and if we support her, she could win a medal for us at that level. So she requested that we allow her coach to come. And rarely do we go to competition with athletes, individual or personal coaches. But we granted that I worked on it. And we have to pay the coach accreditation to be, I'm not sure about that, but we have to work it on for the coach to come. And at that time, they were visiting physio every day, just to make sure that her injury is managed for her to be able to jump. So the jump didn't go well. So when we were going to Commonwealth Games, there were conversations between the coaches how we are going to manage her to be able to jump at the Commonwealth Games so that she will be able to medal, because at that time she was the number 2 and number 3 rank within the Commonwealth countries. You could clearly see how she jumped. It was decided that he should try and do the clear her jump within the first 2 jumps. So the first jump she did was the 694, boom. Subsequent jumps she was dropping, but we knew why he was dropping, because of the injury. And if I were her, as a former athlete, the money that I got from there, even though the injury was outside the national competition, I would have made a formal complaint to the association in writing that this is what I'm facing. Please, how can you help me? Then the National Federation would have also forwarded the same thing to the ministry. But we all knew that athletes get injured outside competition or outside national competition. They find ways of treating themselves. Sometimes if they come to us, we support them to treat themselves. But if she gets injured within the national program, within the national competition, then it is the responsibility of the state to take care of it. I'm not saying that if we have authority or we have resources, we will not have supported her. We would have supported her. But here's the case that the injury was there before the Eugene. And after all that, we still supported the GOC to give her the Olympic solidarity, the Olympic scholarship. Within the scholarship, it is 2,000 something per quarter. And within that scholarship, I don't know this particular one, but the ones that I know, there's breakdown of how to use that Olympic money. Some is for competition, some is for housing, some is for medication, some is for other things. So I would have wished, or if I were here, I would have used that part of that money for the Olympics or the Olympic scholarship to also try and see whether I can use it to treat myself. After all, as a professional athlete, you need also to invest in yourself. I'm being frank here. If I am a professional athlete, I will not wait, or if I get injured for 2-3 years, I will not wait and sit down for somebody to come and help me treat myself. Treating myself would mean that I'm building my own career. I'm progressing in my career. If you wait for, as a professional athlete, you wait for somebody to come and treat you. As much got injured, James Darcy got injured, Sean got injured. This year, a lot of them got injured, but do you hear about them? Because they knew they're professionals. They knew they have agents. They knew their progression in their career depends upon them investing in themselves. I'm not in any way saying that if we have the resources, we will not support it. We will support it. But it is behoove on herself to also be able to take care of herself as a professional athlete.
All right. Let's wrap this side of the conversation up. What would you have to say regarding these kinds of issues that come up? Because you see, we've had to deal with such stories, not only in athletics but in football and boxing and many other sporting disciplines where national athletes feel neglected. So what will be the final word on this particular thing, and in the form of advice to those or all the athletes who are linked to the National Federation and who on various occasions are called upon to serve the national team?
My advice is that it's simple. Let us open dialogue. Let's keep our doors open and be very frank with each other. When you are injured and you are called for national team, be frank and tell the association that I'm injured. I'm treating injury. Please, can you help me get my injury treated so that next time when you call me, I will come. You do not have an injury when they call you to the national team, then you come to the national team only to complain that you are injured. Let's be transparent in our dealings. Let's be frank and come to the national team full prepared to compete. And when you get injured within the competition, the state will take care of you. Let's open dialogue. Talk to the federation. Always complain in the formal way that this is what I'm feeling. This is my challenges. Please, and you have the documentation. If the federation do not come up or do not come on to do that, you can still come out and say that I've written to the federation, I've done this one federation, but the federation have not done that. And let me close my statement with this one. This is the time for us to have been discussing how to get money to prepare our athletes to go to Paris, how we're going to come them, how we're going to go to Cameroon, so that corporate Ghana will come to support us to send this, who have qualified, who are competing and qualified to go and represent Ghana. And they're also sacrificing a lot. But yet, we're talking about this thing that will throw a dim light on athletics. Now, if we go and look for sponsorship, it may be, I know a lot of people are listening to this program. If you go to say for sponsorship, as soon as you appear there, what they ask you is that, what is the issue of Deborah? Instead of discussing how we are going to support those who have qualified for the Olympic Games, how we are going to qualify more athletes for the Olympic Games, how we are going to take care of the athletes to go and represent Ghana. We are talking about this issue. I'm not saying it's not important, but we should also place priority on current issue that will make the athletics grow. When we go for sponsorship, we will get more people to talk positively on athletics. I'm not saying in any way that nobody should comment on any negative story. One negative comes out, we'll deal with it. But I think that if we throw more light on the positives, that we get more resources, we get more sponsorship, we get more corporate institution or corporate body supporting us, those things can be sorted out as quickly as possible. But if we don't have the resources to cater for them, if we cannot go outside there because of such stories, to go and look for resources to cater for the same people that are complaining, then what are we going to do? So my conclusion is that any athlete who listen to me, please open the dialogue. If you have any other issue, we have Professor Andrews, we have Professor Sia, we have Aziz Zachary, we have Elom, we have Obuo, all of them are in the United States. Talk to them. If you can't talk to them, write a formal letter to the association. The association will take it up. Formally, if you have an injury, they want the state to cater for you. Just let us know with the report. If you have a medical report, add it to it. So we also submit the same to the ministry through the NSA, or if it's an Olympic issue, we'll write formally to the GOC. I can call the president, Mr. Benunu. We can discuss that. This is what we are facing. Please, can we come together and support this particular athlete to be able to put her feet on the ground so that she can prepare for the Olympic Games? But if you don't open dialogue, if you don't come forward with our issues, and we only hear them this way, we have to come and talk, explain, not once, not twice, because this issue came out in Budapest. We spoke to it again, and it's coming up again. I think this issue, we should find permanent solution to this one. The girl can come out, can reach out with formal complaint or formal letter, even to the ministry. If she won't send it to us, she send it to the ministry, or she send it to the GOC or to the NSA. We will follow up and we'll see what we can do to support her.
All right, Mr. Baf Hussein will stay on with us for a few more minutes because we want to quickly take a look at the issue of maintenance, which we'll be discussing here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Still here on the Joy Sports Link, and of course, we're just 2 minutes away from 1 p.m. Keep your messages coming. Remember, it's 055-1111-997, 055-1111-997. Well, the EPL fans, we're going to be discussing in a bit how it's going to go this final weekend, and we're also looking forward to the FA Cup final and what it can bring for Manchester United once they're able to do what many people, consider to be impossible. All of these are coming up here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll listen to the final part of the conversation and the clarifications by Mr. Benunu Mensah, the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee. And of course, all of this is just to educate all of us about, how athletes, bring all of these issues to the fore or officially lodge these complaints with officialdom so that they can be helped when they find themselves in trouble, especially with injuries. And we're revisiting the case of Deborah Acquah, Ghana's record holder for the long jump, who's also Ghana's bronze medalist from the last Olympic Games in Birmingham. Just to do this one, which was a reaction from the GOC president yesterday on Prime Take.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. Before I answer your question, one, yesterday I spoke to the chief director at the ministry and I was told the athletes were being paid. Okay, those who won medal were being paid. Two, I want to also put it on record. They
started the process of paying them.
Yeah, yesterday. Okay. Two, I want to put it on record that the Ghana Olympic Committee has no hand in the organization and the delivery of the African Games. I, myself, and Mr. Samson Lee, who is also the president of the NPC, serve on the LOC in our capacities as such. It is not the GOC who also pays bonus to athletes when we go for international competition. It is the government who does that. So these are the corrections I want to make.
No, I think we established that. Like I said, that's why I started by saying that it might sound a bit unfair. Said that,
your real question, I think the ministry is taking steps to pay these athletes, as was said to me by the chief director yesterday, because one of the athletes had called me, so I called the chief director. Chief director said, athletes they are complaining, and then he said, we started paying them. You come to my office, you can see the footballers are here, the male, we finished the male, was starting with the females and stuff like that. So I want to believe that as of yesterday, the ministry is taking steps to pay them. It is not the GOC. We have never promised athletes to give them something and we don't give them.
All right,
no, that is not the way the GOC works.
Mr. Benunu Mensah, president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, thank you for speaking to us.
So there it is. That was yesterday on the show here on Joy 99.7 FM. Clarifications regarding how all of this should go and how, payments are made to these national athletes. One of the major conversations that have been raging on in the past weeks are settling all of those who have also participated in the African Games. And talk about the African Games, there's a very big subject about the stadium. I'm talking about the University of Ghana Stadium. Do remember that the University of Ghana Stadium has this particular history to it. It was constructed as a training facility for the teams that were participating in, the Africa Cup of Nations 2008 edition, which was hosted by Ghana. And that facility was constructed with funds from the Get Fund, because obviously it's under the University of Ghana. Well, for many years, that project was left. It was just sitting there. And even though it was put in a certain state that could have people compete in there and participate in sporting activities in there, it had not been completed. So, as Ghana prepared for the hosting of the African Games, it became important that many other facilities were put in place to ensure the successful hosting. So the University of Ghana had a conversation with the government of Ghana, and the agreement was that once we're giving you our land to, construct facilities at Boteman, meet us halfway and also, put the University of Ghana Stadium in shape. Eventually, it served a very good purpose. But moving forward, there is an even bigger conversation. And that bigger conversation is about how we can keep this facility in good state. Let's remember that Mr. Bahaf Husseini was here in the studio some weeks ago and confirmed that the track, the kind of track that has been laid at the University of Ghana Stadium, is one of the best you can find in the world. And there's actually 3 of them in the whole of the African continent. This is one of 3 in the African continent, because of which Ghana is now bidding to host different competitions, on the international calendar, on the international athletics calendar. The African meet is one Ghana is looking forward to hosting. And away from that as well, many others. So how are we ensuring that we're keeping the University of Ghana Stadium, not only the tartan tracks, but the whole facility itself? It's looking very, very beautiful. I drive past there every day, and it's looking very beautiful. In the evenings, all the lights in the car park, all the lighting systems are working very perfectly. How do we ensure that we keep it in the state that is required and that it can last for as long as the contractors have given us that it will last? So these are the conversations we want to have here. We'll be rejoined by Mr. Bahaf Husseini and also Mr. Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu, who is in charge of the Sports Directorate of the University of Ghana, Legon. Keep messages coming in about how you want this weekend to go in the English Premier League. It is big for many. Some have already given up. Some are already looking forward to, seeing a lot of drama. But all of it put together, just remember that we'll be bringing you all of the coverage on tomorrow's edition of the Joy Sports Arena right here with Musbao Razak. We'll be doing a lot of analysis, and we'll be reaching out to a lot of you so that you bring us what your expectations will be. Remember, all of the games will be played simultaneously, and it will be exciting to note how all of this ends. Well, I'm a Chelsea fan, so, we don't have much to say regarding the competition and all of that. Sami Amoisi of Adom TV and Adom FM joins me here in the studio for more. We'll be doing some more with some more analysts. They'll be joining us virtually from various places so we can look ahead to what will be a very exciting weekend in the English Premier League. Later on as well, we'll be discussing some boxing, and in between there we'll bring you that conversation on the University of Ghana Stadium and how we should make sure that we don't have any conversation about anything rotting or anything being left unattended to. Sami, good to see you. I'm very sure that you've also followed the conversations about this issue of maintenance of our facilities. You were there, you saw the University of Ghana Stadium, and you see the ratings that it has been given, especially the athletics track that has been laid. A couple of weeks ago, the president of Ghana Athletics, who rejoins us very shortly, said that there is a way this track can be maintained and it can last for a very, very long time. But if we resort to putting seats, putting chairs on the tracks and having footballers, run to go and celebrate on the tracks with their studs, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, I think it's a problem. And immediately I saw the athletes complain, and I think what came to mind, was that this is clearly wrong. And I think we spent money to construct these things, and just like what you said, I think if this is one of the best three that we have in Africa, I think that we need to really take good care of it. And one thing also caught my attention. Something caught my attention whilst I was there, and what I saw was that I think even the dugouts, or where even some of the officials or wherever they were sitting, just like what you said, their chairs and everything is just on the line, and I think it's wrong. I don't think that we can really see this happening in any country, because this is an edifice that we've pumped money into getting it into a state where it is now. And so for me, I think that officials, government, people, even the University of Ghana itself and officials need to ensure that, listen, this is something, just like what you said, this is an edifice now that Ghana is pushing to host some of the best tournaments across Africa. So if we have such an edifice, I don't think that we need to just sit aloof and ensure that we just watch it or even destroy it. I think that the players as well need to be taken into an orientation that no one is banning them from celebrating when they score, but I think that the Titan tracks, the money that has gone into it, the whole edifice, the money that has gone into it, and for an athlete to come out and express their displeasure, not one athlete, the other athletes. We saw the tweets by one athlete and the Instagram post by another athlete. It clearly shows that what happened there, they are not happy about it. And personally, I'm not sure that anybody who is interested in ensuring that the edifice is in good shape will be happy about it. So for me, I think that moving forward, officials, players, whoever need to be taken into an orientation to ensure that this is how we are going to keep the stadium in very good shape. And in doing that, that tartan tracks especially, and one thing also is there no way that we can keep or cover that place, or just that we should just leave it there open like that? I don't know how it's going to be done, but if there is any other way to cover that place especially, I think it should be done, because we can't just leave it just like that. Honestly, I don't think the best thing to do is to first of all leave it open. But then that is the step with it find itself now. But I think moving forward, officials, players need to go through an orientation to ensure that these things are kept in good shape, because not a lot of money has been pumped into this edifice, and I don't think that we should sit down for that edifice. To go into a state where whoever anybody walks in there and feel like come on, this thing shouldn't be happening, because this is not the first time, this is not the second time we sit down. Assets go into a situation, a condition where we don't expect it, those assets to find itself. Now we'll go back, pump money into it, we'll sit down, and then the assets still deteriorate. I don't think it's the best thing to do, honestly.
Thanks, Sammy. Let's quickly get the thoughts of our other guests who are joining us virtually. Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu is the head of the sports directorate of the University of Ghana, Legon. And the University of Ghana Stadium is currently hosting the Under-17 Wafu Zone B tournament, where the Black Starlets are performing very well. Doc, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate the patience. You're not in the jurisdiction. We're grateful to you for the time.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Nat. Thank you, and good afternoon to your listeners, the panelists and the guests, and Ghanaians and sports fraternity all over. Thank you and welcome. My pleasure to be here.
Doc, the conversation before the completion of the project, I'm talking about the University of Ghana Stadium project, and the conversation after has always been, can we maintain? And this is becoming cliche, because this is something we're very used to, and it's not only in the sphere of sport. Can we have a different story to tell with this particular facility? And first of all, what is the plan that has been put in place? What has been put on paper to be implemented to ensure strict maintenance of the facility?
Thank you very much. To your first question, can this be done? We have a very checkered history of maintenance and sustainability of our facilities. In fact, of government edifice, of government buildings, but especially sporting facilities. And we have the examples all over. Leading is the story of our stadia. Yes, I believe we are able to make it, we can make it, and we shall make it. What are the plans? When the idea came about the hybrid concept of hosting the event, it was very clear from the beginning that when the games are over, the facilities will be given to the University of Ghana to run. And I think for a very good reason, among others, sporting facilities, according to literature and empirical evidence, is that sporting facilities, especially in this part of the world, but also generally, are better maintained and sustained when they are under or in an educational institution. And if these things would happen in the University of Ghana, which is known to be a pace setter and a university where all eyes are on, the university which has produced and can produce and trains expertise, including maintenance and sustainability, it is then something that can happen. So what went on was the Vice Chancellor, when all was said and done, the Vice Chancellor 1.5 years ago entered into a discussion with me. And then last year, many months before we even thought of really even postponing, the idea was mooted by her. She set up a committee to design a concept for sustainability and maintenance of the facility. The University of Ghana always nurtured the thought and the idea of a sports stadium. It started this long since. That is why this stadium was constructed. The construction started in 2003. And so this nurturing, this vision that the university had, even though sort of stalled at one point, was resuscitated in 2017. So parts of the stadium, the seats, the utilities, the offices of the sports directorate were then completed at that time. And then came the African Games 2023. So the university, the Vice Chancellor set up a committee for this concept. The committee completed its work and submitted the report to the senior management of the University of Ghana. The senior management considered the report, the recommendations and thoughts, and were in agreement with the content of the document. And so they then further set up a broader committee to conceptualize the operationalization of the recommendations and thoughts contained in that first committee's report. This was also submitted before the African Games, and as I speak now, arrangements are being made to put the process into motion. The university is in touch. A team has also been formed, made up of the University of Ghana, UGEL, University of Ghana Enterprises Limited, and then the Ministry of Youth and Sports, for the smooth handing over and transition of the facility. In the meantime, however, the university has taken steps to ensure the security in the place and the protection generally of the place, and supervising the minor works that were not completed at the time. So are in touch with the contractors and then the consultants through the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So that is what is on the table now.
Very well,
if
Doc.
I should answer the question.
Very, very well, Doc. You know, you mentioned that a task force has been put in place already to ensure that for now, until what is on paper is rolled out, at least there is a certain level of supervision and a certain level of monitoring. But we saw athletes, you know, complain about what they were seeing with the track. This was over the last 48 hours. Does it then mean that somebody somewhere within the organization is not doing their work well? The task force that you have put in place and have tasked with that responsibility are not doing their work well? Because if their eyes are on the track, for instance, you wouldn't have anybody put any chairs on them.
Thank you very much. No, we are on top of the work. Now, Nathaniel, the task force, as you called it, I will call it a team that has been put up, is working. Ghana FA, Ghana Athletics contacted us that they want to use the stadium. For now, the Ghana FA, as we see, and then subsequently, sometime in June, the Ghana Athletics for the WAFU championship competition, qualification, meet, tournament, whatever you call it. And then some other interested parties to use it for some sporting athletic events. We made it very clear to them that no, we want to complete the transition process before we start any such thing. Ghana FA, Ghana Athletics, I spoke to them, I said, look, if any such thing has to happen, then permission has to be sought from the ministry itself, the owners, if you like, of the arrangement until now, and that permission has to be directed to the Vice Chancellor. And when we realize that these are national and international assignments, we agreed that, okay, an exception can be made and we can try and manage at least to fulfill the, if you like, the temporal need and desire of Ghana Athletics and the Ghana FA. And so we came up with an idea that all costs must be covered and every step must be taken to protect the place. That is why you see the carpets that have been rolled to protect the Mondo. By the way, Mondo, not Tartan track. Yes, I agree that there was a slip somewhere where we had chairs.
Thanks for that clarification. You know, so that also is becoming cliched because, you know, Tartan obviously is another brand. And it's just like the way we make. It's just like the way people refer to every kind of toothpaste as Pepsi.
Yeah. Thank you. So
it's the Mundo track. Yes,
that is the Mondo. Mondo
is
a Mondo track, not a Tartan track. Yeah, right. So we agreed, and yes, there was a slip. And I tell you, every day, every hour, our eyes are there. A team has been formed specifically for the safeguarding of the place. And yes, I agree. There was a slip somewhere where a chair, two chairs, etc. were found in some parts. But you see, I think I am very, very happy, very, very, very happy and impressed about how the eyes of people are directed at maintaining this facility where colossal sums were paid and the only world or blah, blah, blah certified facility in Ghana. And I think the pressure, the checks and balances should continue, but should be measured and within a certain justified context, and that should happen, and it should continue, and I'm happy about that. So I'm not saying two wrongs make a right. Even during the African Games, if you recall, I was the venue manager and, of course, the director of sports at the University of Ghana. And during the athletics championship, I had to go around telling them to move the chairs from where they were. So we are aware of that. We know that there was a blip. Somebody somehow didn't do something or did something and the rest. But immediately we corrected that. So those who saw the first incident and where this blip happened, as it also happened during the games where it was immediately corrected, we then decided to cover it. You know, this is the beginning. This is the first time, and we are happy that our attention is being drawn. But I tell you, we are doing everything possible to make sure that this temporal usage does not cause any harm. This is not how it is going to end and is going to be. There is a huge plan there which the senior management is considering, which I cannot reveal now, but I want to assure anyone who is in doubt, anyone who cares, that we should rest assured we are as concerned as they are. We would appeal for some measured comments and measured judgments, but we believe we are on top, and we are working closely with Ghana Athletics. And in the transition team, I even decided and discussed with senior management and the sports director that we should rope in Ghana Athletics in the transition, the inventory, etc. of the things there. So we said, look, this particular edifice will be something that the Ghana FA and the Ghana Athletics are going to be part of in managing, in supporting, etc. So Ghana FA is even part of the transition team as a co-opted team member, and we have had some meetings, took inventory and the rest. So I agree there was a blip, and I support and agree that people should be concerned, but we are on top of it. Let us hear concerns, let us hear complaints, but we know exactly what we want to do because we want to succeed, and we believe we would be able to succeed. We would learn. There will be a learning curve. We haven't even started yet. If Ghana Athletics and Ghana FA were not to insist and say we want, and went to the ministry and then wrote to the VC and then permission was given, we would have still closed the stadium now until all the things are done before we open them. That is my response for now, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu. My last question has already been answered because you've mentioned that other organizations have applied to make use of the facility. However, all of these have been put on hold and are being assessed and will be given responses by the management of the university in due course. So we're grateful to you. Thank you so much, Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu, for your time here on the show. We're very grateful to you. You just heard Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu.
Thank you very much, Nat. Let me just chip in 10 seconds if you permit. I would just like to appeal and suggest and advise. If such things are seen, get to us. We may not be seeing everything. We can't also see everything. Get to us, tell us, advise us. But we shouldn't go and be maybe raising an alarm that is the end of the world and the rest. We want to be the best, and we think the whole of Ghana can help and can support. And we look forward to hearing from you. Let us know, advise us, suggest to us, and I think as a team of Ghanaians who love sport and who want to see value for money for this, we can all work towards that, and in a very smooth and very pleasant and sustainable way. Thank you very much, Nat.
Well, grateful to you for your time, Dr. Bella Bello Bitugu. He is the director in charge of the sports directorate of the University of Ghana, Legon, who have the responsibility over the University of Ghana Stadium. Which is the subject of conversation here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Remember, it's 055 11 11997, 055 11 11997. Well, a couple done 2 to go. So we've got some football to discuss, and we've got some boxing to discuss as well. Boxing fans are turning their attention to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, where there will be a bout for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. You know, the heavyweight division of boxing always has its special place, and there's lots of sentiments and lots of history to follow from the early years till now. And the responsibility lies on the shoulders of Alexander Usyk, who holds 3 of the 4 major titles, and the man Tyson Fury, who holds the WBC title. We'll be taking a listen to some analysts as well. And then after that, we zoom in on the conversation on how it's going to wrap up in England this weekend. All of these and more here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. A couple of messages, and the conversations continue right here.
So for one final time, inside the final, into the final.
Catch the final days of the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the UEFA Champions League, and other major cup finals from May to June. Stay connected to GoTV to witness live in all the finals on GoTV. Even when the last whistle is blown, it's not over yet. Brace yourself for the UEFA Euros 2024, only on SuperSport. GoTV, love it.
Introducing Pick 4 from Game Pack Games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Pick 4 numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times a day to become one of our daily winners. More moolah, more power. Play online at www.gamepackgames.com or dial *946# to play. Game Pack Games is regulated by the National Lottery Authority, not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Pick 4 from Game Pack Games. More moolah, more power.
One here in a league game. They've never even scored here. What a night it would be to put in the first half, so he kind of let him go through there. Here's Bernardo Silva keeping it alive. And De Bruyne. Haaland! City lead! De Bruyne to Haaland. When we needed a moment, it's the two who combined again. Being caught by Johnson. Oh, and it's come to Son. City's nemesis. Ortega stops him. Oh, hearts in mouths everywhere.
We have to do our deal, and we know what we need in order to be champions, and let's do that. And now it's about, okay, moving forward, how can we continue to do that or better?
I'm going to make this short and simple.
Of QPR, we were 1-2 down 89 minutes more or less, so now it's Kudus, Bowen, Antonio, set pieces, channels, and we could not expect less, so we have to win one more game to retain the title.
We have beautiful day.
That one reminds me of time in St. Augustine's College. I don't want to talk about it. I know I'd get a couple of calls, especially those who encountered my person over the course of my stay in St. Augustine's. And of course, when I was playing this song, I'm sure that a couple of people would start asking about the 90s Jam. Well, the 90s Jam is how many months away? We're in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, blah, 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 blah. January 2025. That will be after the election. We've got a lot of work to do. So let's shelve that for now. But enjoy the music. Still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's now get down to the conversations. You heard the sound bites, some of the memories from the past week, the conversations, and the key things that have been said. The weekend is finally here with us. Let me be honest with you. Look, so as a Chelsea fan, I have to be modest because this is not our time. We cannot be part of the conversations. And I can see Fifi Manfred grin. Yeah. Don't worry. You can grin, you can smile, you can... It's okay, it's fine, we understand. But with Chelsea, what happens is that, during the seasons when we're not in the topmost of form, we win the UEFA Champions League. It's not about Chelsea this weekend. Conversation is about the defending champions, Manchester City, who are on the verge of winning a fourth in a row. Will they fluff it? Is it possible they can fluff it? Arsenal are just there on the heels, looking forward to that happening. But there is also a certain Thomas Partey in there. If he wins the if he wins the English Premier League title, it sure will be a great moment of pride for all of us. And that will also mean different things in terms of, the records and putting Ghanaian faces in there. But, well, it goes beyond Ghanaian sentimentality. We just have to look at the facts and the the reality on the ground. Sammy, reality on the ground, isn't it? It's reality.
Yeah. Attoh was talking about hoping for a magic. There's nothing that he can hope for at this point in time. I think that Arsenal had their own destiny in their own hands, and then they just let it slip off from their hands. And I think that the game against Villa that they lost at the Emirates has really, really cost them. But that's, if you look at how City are playing, there's no way they are going to let this trophy slip off from their hands at this point in time.
You hold that initial thought. I know there are loads of messages. I'll be sharing them shortly. But Fifi, so Sammy is saying, look, we let's forget it. If anybody wants to do any, if you're looking for miracles, come back next season, but not these next 24 to 48 hours. It won't happen. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be difficult for the miracle to happen. I think that, like it was just said, Arsenal had their chance right in front of them and they blew it. The game against Aston Villa and other games in the London derbies that they played, they failed to do that. And I had also said consistently that if you want to usurp the king, Nat, you kill the king. And if you can't kill the king, then you are just not ready to usurp them. They went to the Etihad. They weren't able to beat Manchester City. Yes, in the context of what Arsenal have been doing, beating City at the Emirates and then getting 4 points overall out of them this season is huge. But they should have beaten them at the Etihad if they really wanted the title. I also do not see how City slip up on the last day against a struggling West Ham United with a coach who's already leaving. I've seen some tweets around. I don't know. I can't verify that. But if that is true, then it adds to the twist and enjoyment of the game that Kudu said somewhere that Thomas Partey sent him a message and said, bro, you know what to do. I don't think Kudus can give Partey the league title today. That.
Okay. But well, I've been asking this question. There are surprises. I mean, last season, for instance, it had to go down to the wire, and City rose to the occasion, and they are in blistering form. I mean, you have an arrowhead in Erling Haaland, who is scoring on the days when you don't even get him, in full form in terms of his conditioning, he's still scoring. And that is a problem for any defense that they're coming up against, especially on a day when they know that there's a big prize at stake.
And I think that is what makes it more even difficult for Arsenal, for me. Because, Arsenal, they are scoring and they are playing good football as well. But especially for City, they have a home record to protect. And just like what you said, once they knew or once they know that they have to win to ensure that they make this history tomorrow, there's no way they are going to blow it away. There's no way they are going to blow it away, especially with Erling Haaland also eyeing for that golden boot award back to back. So it's more of like for City, tomorrow is just like a history day for them, just to make that history in English football. For players, you can talk about Erling Haaland and then Pep Guardiola, the history that he is also looking at for tomorrow. So for me, I think that it's going to be an exciting day tomorrow, especially. And for me, I think that, just like what I said, it's over for Arsenal. The only thing that you can hope for them is that they can come back to, next season. And for me, I'm extremely worried for Arsenal, honestly, because now, you remember the years gone by when Leicester City won the Premier League. At that year, Man City were nowhere to be found. Chelsea were nowhere to be found. Arsenal were nowhere to be found. It was only between Leicester and the Spurs, and then they also blew it away at Stamford Bridge. So for me, this time around, it was all between Arsenal and Man City. Arsenal had a chance to win this year's Premier League, and then they lost it when they lost the game at home to Villa. And next season, hopefully, Chelsea is going to come good. United is going to come good. Liverpool is going to come good. So where is Arsenal's chance? So for me, I think that tomorrow is going to be a day that, as Ateta said, he's hoping for a magic. When we are speaking of reality, you don't hope. It's staring at you. It is there. And I think Arsenal had it to go and lift the trophy, and they blew it away. And there's nothing is going to happen tomorrow. City are not going to drop that point tomorrow, and especially with Erling Haaland in there to bang in the goals. Nuts. Okay. I think you should expect more tomorrow.
Okay. What kind of game are we expecting? And that's what I want Fifi Manfred to answer for me. But you can keep your messages coming. It's 055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. Let me first of all start issuing my disclaimers before I get off air, to some of my bosses. Mr. Daniel Attoh, he's the managing director of Omni Basic Bank. He's a strong Arsenal fan. And so all the comments that have been made here in the studio are not mine, boss. Fifi, what kind of game are you expecting tomorrow from Manchester City, especially considering...
First of all, Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was saying that I can understand that the Arsenal fans, like Mr. Emmanuel, and then Delali Atiasi also here at Love FM, will want to hope for that miracle. There is data that backs that. In terms of the teams that have won the most games on the final day in the English Premier League, Arsenal have won 22 times, Man United have won 21, Chelsea 18, Liverpool 17, and Arsenal obviously have won the most games on the final day. So they are certain that they are going to win their game tomorrow. They are hoping that at least something happens. You remember in the final day between Man City and then Liverpool, that day it was Man City playing against Aston Villa. There was former Liverpool legend Steve Gerrard in the dugout for Aston Villa, and people were hoping that he could spring up a surprise, some magic for Aston Villa, and then for Liverpool to go ahead and win the league. But then it wasn't to be, and it didn't happen. So it's going to be difficult. I'm expecting that tomorrow City go into this game knowing that it's almost business as usual. It is for 90 minutes, they will not care about the trophy. For 90 minutes, I can assure you that they will put the trophy behind them. They will put the thought of having to celebrate behind them and then focus on winning a trophy. Now, you go back to the game they played against Fulham, away at the Craven Cottage. Centre-back Josko Vardiol was man of the moment, scoring goals left, right, centre. They had a penalty. It was 3-0 at the time. Josko could have played that penalty and then possibly scored the third goal and then gotten the first assist for a centre-back in English Premier League this season. But then the team had a quick tete-a-tete, himself, Kylie Walker, and then Kevin De Bruyne. They said, you know what, without Erling Haaland on the field of play, the next penalty taker is Julian Alvarez, who is backed by data. So it is business as usual. No fanatic stuff. Give the ball to Julian Alvarez. Let him kick the ball, score the goal, and let's consolidate our win by 4-0. Mind you, it can also they were also watchful of the goal difference at the time. This time, it may not really matter depending on what happens in both games. So I can tell you that City will go into that game knowing that for 90 minutes, they need to play their best game of their careers. Because in the history of the Premier League, no single team, no manager has won it 4 times in a row. It is unprecedented. And if you look at Josep Guardiola and in the 8 seasons that he has been at Manchester City, it is only Antonio Conte and Jurgen Klopp who have managed to stop him. He has won the league title on a record point. He has won on record goals scored. So this is another level that he's going to unlock. And I think that's the motivation. It isn't just because he has won it before, so maybe his team is going to slack. No. Mind you, there is something that Josep Guardiola has been doing throughout his squad building, and it's the fact that every season he tends to keep the squad hungry. And he does that by bringing in new players who want to win and replicate the successes of the elsewhere season. So this season and 2 seasons ago, before he came, there was Erling Haaland who had come from Dortmund and wanted to win trophies for his career. He came in, won English Premier League, went ahead and won the Champions League. This season, he has added more. He has added Mateo Kovacic, who wants to win English Premier League. He has added Matthias Nunes, who wants to win English Premier League. He has added Jeremy Doku, who wants to win English Premier League. Ortega would want to be imposed to be the man to help City win the English Premier League also in the absence of Ederson Moraes. So that's important. He has kept the squad very hungry. The squad is hungry. They are chasing almost an invincible status in terms of the number of trophies that's been won in the English Premier League. It's concerned, and that's exactly how it's going to be like. So I think that they are going to dominate the game. It's at Etihad. It's the last game of the season. I think that they are going to be as patient as possible. In the back of their mind, they have an hour and a half to make sure that they consolidate and write their names in stone in the history of the English Premier League, and they will do that. They will be patient. They know that West Ham, if you listen to Josep Guardiola in his pre-match analysis, he mentioned that the strength of the West Ham team is in 3 players. He mentioned our very own Mohamed Kudus, he mentioned Gerard Bowen, and he mentioned Mikel Antonio, and said that you defend against these players and learn how to defend in the channels. One of the things that he failed or he didn't mention in his pre-match analysis was the fact that they have an excellent set-piece setup in West Ham United. And you look at the likes of James Ward-Prowse, who is a very good set-piece expert. He can play from the corner kick to go. He can set up the team to score. The likes of Sofiane Koufal, Shushek are very good in the air, and they can hit you at any point in time. All of these makes West Ham a very stubborn team. But throughout the season, we've seen Manchester City limit teams that are good at set pieces, that are good at running the channels, that are also very good at dealing with the counter attacks and then the second balls with their very good rest defense in Nathaniel Akanji, Nathan Ake, and of course Ruben Diaz. Even if there's John Stones or Kyle Walker in there, they're also very good in that rest defense. And if they are not defending, then they have absolute technical ability, and then that's numbers, the strength in numbers to dominate play and then pin you at the back and have some long spells of sustained pressure. And if you are subjected to that, almost it's almost 100% certain that definitely Erling Haaland is going to pop up somewhere. Kevin De Bruyne is going to pop up somewhere. Phil Foden may pop up somewhere, or maybe even a certain Bernardo Silva or Jeremy Doku may pop up somewhere, and then crush your hopes of any miracle. So I think that City are going to dominate. They are going to be patient. They will calm down, wait for the openings. They know that definitely openings will come. They know that West Ham is not going to be a side to overlook, and definitely they may possibly get a win.
And let's spend a bit of time on the Thomas Partey subject because you follow his career. He's worked very hard, and for every Ghanaian, the point of pride is having some of our key stars play in the big clubs. And be in the news week in, week out. And that always has a ripple effect on our national team and all of that. We can talk about the days of the Michael Essiens, the Sule Muntaris, the Asamoah Gyanns, who all had their respective stints and runs in the English Premier League. Now, here it is. It's been a checkered story, in terms of his health, his fitness status. But this chance, it came last season. It was blown. It's come again. And it looks like it's on its way to getting blown again. Sad, isn't it?
Yeah. Very, very unfortunate for Thomas Partey. Very unfortunate. And especially if you look at it from also the angle that when Pep wanted a DM of his caliber, when he went to Atletico de Madrid, he picked up his teammate at the time, Rodrigo Cascante, ahead of him. And he went to Pep's, prodigy, Mikel Arteta. And Mikel Arteta mentioned in an interview that when Pep wanted a DM, he was for Partey, Pep wanted Rodri Cascante. Pep had his way, went for Rodri, and he wants to win it. And Partey is such a breath of fresh air when he's in the Arsenal team in terms of the calmness and the control he gives to them. But then it is very unfortunate. I mean, for everybody and for us as Ghanaians and for him most especially, that with everything that he has been through in the last 1 to 2 years with his personal life and his health and everything, he would have loved to have that trophy for himself, especially since Arsenal having won the trophy for almost a decade and more, which is a huge one for him. And also in the context of a Ghanaian, the last time a Ghanaian won the English Premier League was Michael Essien for Chelsea, and it's been tough for Thomas Tuchel. It would have been nice for him to win the English Premier League for us and for himself. I mean, most especially for himself, because he's worked very hard to stay fit and to come back from injury, and then of course also to try and play a part in Arsenal season. But this is a monstrous Manchester City team. When you score, they score. You need to be perfect to usurp them from the throne, and that's the sad part of Thomas's career as it stands now. Last season, in fact, he has been there. One of the first signings that Mikel Arteta did when he took the helm at Arsenal, he was very integral. But every time they get close, Man City are there. It's been 5 years already. Man City are there.
Okay, point very very well made. Sami, just before we jump over to the boxing conversation, there is the Kudus element. And away from all of this, where everybody's turning their attention on Manchester City, nobody doubts it. However, magic can be done, and this is also a very big opportunity for Kudus to make a very big statement on the final day, because there is a big window approaching all of us, and things could change. Kudus could find himself elsewhere.
That's true. That's very much true. But I think, and I side with you perfectly, because it's football and anything can happen. We all know the talent of Mohamed Kudus, brilliant player, very good chap. In his first season, you look at his performances in the Premier League, in the Europa League as well, scoring 13 goals in all competitions. I think he has been brilliant for West Ham. But I think that going to Etihad is always a very difficult grounds. And honestly, I don't also recall the last time that West Ham won an away game. Honestly, I think they've been poor playing away. And I think that they have some very good players, standout players, just like Mohamed Kudus that, you spoke about. Perhaps he can go there, conjure some magic, and then help us now to lift the Premier League trophy. But this is Manchester City, an all-round team, just like what Fifi said. Even if Erling Haaland failed to score, defenders, midfielders find a way to score. And I think that makes them a very, very good team. And so for me, I think that Mohamed Kudus is a very, very young player, very brilliant player, a talented player. But for me, I think that going to the Etihad, very, very difficult for him and his West Ham colleagues.
Okay, analysis by Sami Amwesi of Adom FM and Adom TV, and also Fifi Manfred of Love Sports there. I'll run through the fixtures very quickly. Remember, the action begins 3 p.m. tomorrow, and in collaboration with our partners, the BBC will bring you all of the updates and all the analysis right here when we get on. So, Fifi, final comments as we wrap all of this up on the English Premier League.
I think that it has been a wonderful season of the English Premier League. I mean, the twists and turns. I mean, we've been fixated very well on the race for the title, but also in mid-table, your team, Chelsea, Bernard's team, want to go ahead and play in Europe.
Oh, unfortunately, we lost the connection there. But a point very well made by Fifi Manfred there. Castle, Brighthoven Albion, Manchester United, Burnley playing Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth away to Chelsea, Crystal Palace playing Aston Villa, who are playing in Europe next season. Liverpool playing Wolverhampton Wanderers, Luton Town playing Fulham, Manchester City versus West Ham, and Tottenham going away to Sheffield United. These are the fixtures for the final day. We reached Fifi Manfred for final thoughts. Fifi, go ahead.
Yes, so as I was saying, it's essentially going to go down to the wire for everybody. For those that want to play in Europe, and then also the race for the title. It has been very exciting, very, very dramatic. Some of them the subplots that have gone on in the league in the last few days has been very exciting. For teams like Chelsea, they don't be happy that the league is already ending. And then also for people like Arsenal, they will love that tomorrow there's a miracle. So it's been thoroughly a very good season. It's only sad as a Ghanaian that tomorrow someone share party may miss out. But then, regardless of the analysis we make, the data and all the other stuff, there is also the element of football shocking us every time, and then we are open. So tomorrow, if at 4 p.m. we wake up and City slips up and Arsenal win, from the Ghanaian perspective, from the Arsenal perspective, I'm sure it's going to be a good story to talk about on Monday. But then apart from that, I think that it's been a wholly great season. And then I expect that Man City count themselves with the English Premier League for the 4th time in a row and the 6th time for Pep Guardiola.
Okay, thank you very much, Fifi Manfred.
Welcome.
We're waiting for all of the action. And remember, the action will be right here. Live radio commentary and live analysis on the final day of the English Premier League. It will be here. What happens? Would there be some Kudus magic that probably will change something? That will be such a big deal. That will be such a big deal. But, well, let's just see how it all happens. Tomorrow, by now, everybody will be getting ready for all of the action.
Already, and I want to thank everybody involved in putting this massive event on. I want to thank USEC for turning up and challenging me, and that's about it. Thank you to all the fans who travelled over to support me, because I know it's tough times at the moment and money's hard, so I aim to put on a show. Thank you very much. God bless.
It will be great fight, because it's great man, really. It's big man, smart. You know, like Hitler, sneaky. It's like sneaky, you know. Oh, we have to fight, drink beer, blah, blah, blah. And
the Blues have never won here in a league game.
All right, so you heard the men who will be in action later tonight. I'm talking about Tyson Fury, who holds one of the 4 belts. And, of course, the man Alexander Usyk, who holds 3. This is the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. So it sure is going to be very, very interesting and exciting. One of the key things to look out for are the projections being made by some former world champions. Well, Carl Frampton, who's a former 2-weight world champion, says, and I quote, "I fancy Fury, but my mindset hasn't really swayed from start to finish, which is strange in a fight of this magnitude. I've been saying Fury from the start." Well, he's been calling it for Fury. Well, Clarissa Shields, who's a 3-division women's world champion, says Usyk has to be one of the best heavyweights that I've seen. He beat Anthony Joshua twice. Tyson Fury is the man to be reckoned with. He beat Deontay Wilder 3 times. And very gritty and tall and very skilled. It's going to be very, very close. And it's going to come down to conditioning, focus, and who has to avoid the better shots. Okay. In the face of all of this, however, we also have a Nigerian Ghanaian boxer. Well, he's Nigerian by birth, but he's been staging his career here in Ghana, been training here under the president of the United Boxing Coaches Association of Ghana. I'm talking about Coach Charles Quartey. So Charles Quartey and his team are there in Saudi Arabia, and Joshua Oluwaseun Wahab, who is currently the WBO Africa lightweight champion, will be on the undercards as well. So it's a whole big package. Everybody will be focusing on this fight. Who wins it? Interesting facts to share with you as we look forward to that bout. Tyson Fury weighed in at 118.8 kilos. That's 262 pounds. And is 6.8 kilograms more or 15 pounds, lighter than his last outing, while Usyk was 105.9 kilograms, which is 233.5 pounds. So once again, significant, disparities in weight, and that could become a factor. Do remember that, Tyson Fury also has a superior reach advantage. Can all of this work in his favor? Remember, in boxing, the heavyweight division has a special place. Sammy, just in the next minute before we go, I know that you also are doing your own analysis in your head. Who do you expect to win this one?
Difficult one, honestly, and for those former boxers and those former world champions calling those bouts, I think they know, they've experienced it before, and I think that they have what it takes to become a champion. But I think that yesterday I watched their weigh-in on Sky Sports last night, and I think it was interesting. Look at how they were shoving themselves and all that. But I think that if I'm to call this one, I think that Usyk for me stands favorite. I think Fury has been there dominating, but I think that looking at the push and looking at what happened, transpired even at the weigh-in, I think it's going to be an interesting bout tonight. But I think that for me, Usyk really stands tall in this bout, honestly.
Okay, Sammy, thank you so much. We're very grateful to you for the time. And we'll be back here to do some post-analysis. Tomorrow we're devoting a lot of the time to the final day of the English Premier League. So you'd have to follow us on Monday to bring you some more here on Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you all so much for doing the listening. And just before I wrap up, okay, so why am I playing this song? It's for a Gadangbe uncle. His name is Dr. Lawrence Tete, the president of the World Miracle Outreach. He celebrates 60 years of life this weekend. Dr. Lawrence Tete, thank you so much for being a good friend of Joy 99.7 FM and the multimedia family. This weekend, we wish to celebrate you and salute you. Thank you so much for everything you've done. The role you've also played in sports, supporting some of our world champions, going into their dressing rooms, praying for them, saluting them, pushing them to reach for greatness. We've seen all of that. So on this big milestone, we say we salute you. May God bless you. Continue to be the very good friend of the brand that you have always been. That's how we wrap it up here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. And guess what? The birthday boy takes the microphone a few minutes after 2. Who's the birthday boy? My and your Kwame Dazi. Today he's in all white. We're going to be celebrating later tonight somewhere at the coded location. Big ups to you, Kwame Dazi, host of Showbiz A to Z here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'll be back next weekend by the good grace of God to bring you another Joy Sports Link. It's been wonderful sharing your company. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I have love for sport.